None of us have kind of lived through an experiment where you just gave away so much money. My instinct is at one point that runs out and the economy does slow. But every time you think it's slowing, you get another strong number. It wouldn't surprise me if today's claims are lower. It's a tough market to trade in that respect. This normalization of 5% budget deficits, right? Trump started it, Biden's continued it, right? Governments love to spend money. In the long run, someone's got to pay for that.
Welcome back to Library of Wealth. Today we have Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz giving us his prediction for Bitcoin after seeing the last 6 months' price movement, as Bitcoin has conveyed significant strength. During a recent CNBC interview, Novogratz highlights the consistent trading activity witnessed in 2023 and how the launch of the Bitcoin ETF has bolstered confidence in the crypto prospects for this year. He maintains a bullish perspective on the King crypto heading into the last part of the year as investors prepare for the Bitcoin halving in March. Novogratz also shares his insights on Ripple's massive legal victory against the US Securities and Exchange Commission, noting that it carries profound implications for the entire crypto community. Because this was a substantial win for Ripple, he believes this will have far-reaching consequences. However, the Nasdaq has been downplaying Ripple's victory by highlighting the court ruling that the institutional sales of XRP were considered securities. This means that if the SEC chooses to proceed with litigation, they would need to handle each token and cryptocurrency separately. Novogratz believes that this task would be almost impossible for a regulatory body to accomplish. He points out concerns about the effectiveness of the SEC's approach, even if they decide to appeal the court's judgment. Novogratz predicts that it could take the SEC several years to reach a conclusion if they pursue this course of action, especially with the complexity and scale of evaluating each token individually, which would likely result in a prolonged legal process. Novogratz highlights the quick adoption we've seen of Bitcoin and the meteoric rise that has lured investors and traders alike. However, he cautions that bubbles in the crypto market are not sustainable in the long run. He says that the current environment has provided little relief for investors seeking returns in both stocks and Bitcoin. The rise of Bitcoin is undeniably linked to the increase in budget deficits and the continuous influx of money into the economy. Novogratz identifies this as a crucial factor driving the demand for Bitcoin, alongside the asset's unique adoption cycle. Retail investors have been particularly enthusiastic about Bitcoin, and its prospects have been further brightened with the pending introduction of an ETF. As a result, Novogratz feels more confident about holding Bitcoin in his investment portfolio today than he did 6 months ago. Let's get into the latest interview with Mike Novogratz, as he sheds light on the crypto realm, where Bitcoin is headed for a massive rally in 2023. Don't forget to share your thoughts and comments down below, and leave a like if you enjoy the content we do here.
The AI story is so powerful, right? Every single person who logs on to ChatGPT gets fascinated. You start playing with it. It's quick adoption. You look at the driving, 4, 5, 6 stocks that are taking this thing up. They all have an AI component to them. And it's a story that, bubbles don't really last 2 months and die. Right? These are usually 12 to 18-month phenomena where people buy into a new story, and that's what's giving it juice. Listen, if you look at, 2-year rates, they're close to the high yields to sort of think, we're not really getting a lot of relief from interest rates for stocks or for Bitcoin or for any risk assets. The market does think we're gonna roll at one point. We've been wrong. The economists have been wrong on how fast it would take for the economy to slow down. I actually think when I look back, why was everyone wrong? Our entire careers, all of yours and mine, every response from governments to crises was always monetary, right? Cut interest rates, inject lots of liquidity. Well, with this COVID response, it was giant fiscal. And we've never really lived through an experiment where we did UBI for the entire country, right? We've normalized 5%, budget deficits, which is a dangerous thing. But I think one of the reasons the models aren't working is we're just not used to this. And none of us have kind of lived through an experiment where you just gave away so much money. My instinct is at one point that runs out and the economy does slow. But every time you think it's slowing, you get another strong number. It wouldn't surprise me if today's claims are lower. It's a tough market to trade in that respect. And Bitcoin's got its own story. I think, listen, this normalization of 5% budget deficits, right? Trump started it. Biden's continued it, right? Governments love to spend money. In the long run, someone's got to pay for that. And that's why Bitcoin, gold, silver, I put them all in the same bucket. Silver and gold trade great. Bitcoin's got the additional adoption cycle, right? What drove Bitcoin this year was retail, and they continue to buy, and they continue to buy. And now we've got an ETF on the way. And so I'm more comfortable being long Bitcoin today than I was 6 months ago. 6 months ago, it was scary. Now we see the future kind of spilling out. The rules are absolutely not clear. The judge just basically said to the SEC, you're wrong. And so, Richie Torres, the congressman from the Bronx, put a beautiful letter out to the SEC, to Gensler, saying, guys, it's time to come to the table for the White House, for the SEC, for Democrats to sit down with the Republicans and give us some damn legislation so we can get on with life. I don't think Gary inherently hates Bitcoin or hates crypto. He did see an industry rife with a lot of fraud. I do think Elizabeth Warren and the progressive side, for reasons I can't understand, have been anti-crypto. And I think any central bank governor gets nervous about something. Larry Fink went on TV and said, this is going to be the first global currency. Well, Janet Yellen thinks, and that's her job, right, to defend the dollar as a global currency. And so there is a tension. I like to think of Bitcoin as digital gold, a store of value. And that keeps the tempers or the nerves of central bankers down a little bit. When you start talking currency, they get nervous. But there's that tension there. But I think, listen, the cat's out of the bag. Bitcoin's not going away. Like, you threw everything you could at it, and it's up 80% on the year with interest rates higher. And so the adoption cycle continues. Big ideas are almost impossible to kill, and this is a really big idea.
Historically, the standard response to economic crises has been monetary measures, such as interest rate cuts and injecting liquidity into the system. However, the events of 2020 brought about a monumental change, and Novogratz believes this experiment has led to economists misjudging the speed of economic recovery. But he also believes it's contributed to the normalization of budget deficits. Such fiscal policies, while potentially dangerous in the long run, have added fuel to the Bitcoin narrative. The regulatory environment surrounding Bitcoin still remains uncertain, and the lack of clear guidelines from regulatory bodies, such as the SEC, has created tension in the crypto space. Novogratz calls for a bipartisan effort to develop comprehensive legislation that can provide clarity and facilitate the industry's growth. He acknowledges that some government officials and central bankers may view Bitcoin with caution, seeing it as a potential threat to their traditional currencies. Mike likens Bitcoin to digital gold, a store of value that can calm the nerves of central bankers when the topic of currency arises. While acknowledging the tension between cryptocurrency and traditional finance, he believes that Bitcoin's adoption cycle is unstoppable. While bubbles may come and go, Bitcoin's adoption cycle and the shift in fiscal policies have kept it firmly in the spotlight. Investors like Novogratz are increasingly drawn to its potential as a store of value and a hedge against traditional financial systems. However, regulatory clarity remains crucial for the long-term growth of the crypto industry. Despite the challenges and uncertainties, Bitcoin's enduring allure as a transformative and disruptive force in the world of investing is undeniable. What do you think about the latest interview with Mike Novogratz? And what are your thoughts on his views regarding Bitcoin, investing, and the crypto landscape? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this. We'll see you in the next video.